Tēnā koutou katoa te whānau. Thank you very much, Hohaia, for reading our prayer this morning for us. Good morning, gentlemen. On behalf of our Year 13 Senior School, it's my pleasure this morning as I begin to welcome our special guests here to our assembly. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Clayton McMillan, coach of the Chiefs and All Blacks. Two of our old boys who are on stage with me this morning, Josh Morby and Ramaka Pohepi, who've joined us today, and also Mr. Aaron Penny, who is sitting beside me, who is going to speak to you shortly after I have. I'm only going to speak to you briefly this morning because this is a very special assembly, but I would like to point out, gentlemen, that today is the first exact middle of the year for you as the Year 13 group. So you've had 16 and a half weeks of academic study this year. You've got 16 and a half weeks left to go. So I want you to ponder on that thought as we move through this very, very special assembly today. It's our halfway point. Think about your goals. And today is our final school assembly before we celebrate Matariki next Friday. And I want you to think about what Matariki means, because it means a time when family got together to celebrate by eating all of the kai that have been stored for the winter. And so it's a time of celebration, of joy, of standing and sitting together as a whānau and working together to enjoy the fact that we work together and we are together and to reap the benefits of all our hard work. So Matariki is the name, as you know, of the stars. It's also the name of the brightest star, the mother star. I particularly like the fact that she's the mother star. But it's a time of transition, a time of new year. So as you start the second half of your academic year, I want you to think about the symbolism of Matariki and how you are beginning the last part of your journey. And reflect on that star on our crest, which represents aspiration. Because today, as we reflect on the star and on the goals that we have as a community and as individuals, it's fitting that we're going to celebrate excellence by recognising the achievements of a very special group of men, the 2022 Maori All Black team. And as a school which strives to realise the greatest of ambitions in rugby, and we like to name ourselves and recognise the truth of the fact that we are the very best rugby school in New Zealand, it's fitting that we have the privilege today of hosting the announcement of the Maori All Blacks team. The Maori All Blacks are special to us as a school. This morning, Mr. Hotham in my office named 13 old boys who have been Maori All Blacks, and 2 staff who have been Maori All Blacks in recent years. Mr. Miller was a Maori All Black before he became an All Black. And Mr. Cartney, who's in the hall this morning at the back, was a Maori All Black as well. In fact, Mr. Cartney was in the Maori All Black team of 2012 to 13, and so he is a proud old Maori All Black. He tells me that in the game against the United States of America 10 years ago, the Maori All Blacks played, he came on at the start of the second half and he scored the winning try. So that is something for him to be very proud of and something for you to talk with him about when you go back to his classes this afternoon. Our most recent Maori All Blacks include Quinn Tupaia, who is now part of our All Black squad. And these are young men who we know, who we love and who we care for, and we have 2 of them here this morning. So today is very special for us all as we celebrate the success of these very special men, as they are named in the squad, because they are role models for us all. As we begin the second half of our academic year, determined to realise our own highest goals as a whānau and as individuals, just as those who are named today have realised the highest goals of themselves and of their whānau. And we can feel proud with them as they are named. And I want you to sit here and think about just how proud you feel of yourself as much as how proud we are of these men who are going to be representing New Zealand in the time ahead. All the very, very best for the second half of the year, gentlemen. E mihi ana kia koutou katoa.
I sing the school song, Pukari Mai. E tū, gentlemen.
E noho, gentlemen. It is now my very great pleasure to introduce our first guest speaker this morning, Mr. Aaron Pene, who I'm sure many of you know. A very special part of our school whānau. He is, in fact, part of our whānau even today as a member of our Board of Trustees, and we are very, very grateful to you, Aaron, for all of the work that you do and for you sharing your sons with us in years past. Aaron was also a Maori All Black and in 1993 to 94, and one of the All Blacks playing 26 games, including 15 internationals as All Black number 918. And we are grateful for you being here this morning, Aaron, and thank you very much for your contribution to our world over the years, and thank you very much for the contribution you're going to make to our assembly today. So, gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Aaron Pene to the stage.
Kia ora mai tātou, kei te whare Hamilton Boys High, tēnā koutou. Nei rā te mihi kia koe, Susan, kei te mihi, kei te mihi, kei te mihi. Thank you, Mrs. Hessel and Hamilton Boys High School for the opportunity to announce the New Zealand Māori rugby team for this year, who have a two-match series against Ireland, the first game being on the 29th of June in Hamilton, and the second game in Wellington on the 12th of July. So I know Mrs. Hassel will make sure that you've all done your homework and you'll be able to go to that game in Hamilton. Kia ora. Nō reira, anei te tima for te paura Māori, tēnei tau. Jermaine Ainsley, nō te aroa me te aroa. Lenny Apisai, nō Ngāti Awa. Caleb Delaney, nō Ngāti Tūwhari Toa. Josh Dixon, nō Naitahu. Kurt Eklund, nō Ngāti Kahu. Connor Garden Bishop, nō Ngāti Awa. Billy Harmon, nō Naitahu. Te Kāmaka Howden, nō Nai Tūhoi. Josh Ioani, nō Te Raroa. Tyrell Lomax, nō Muaupoko, me Nai Tūhoi. Ruben Love, nō Te Atiawa. Josh Morby, nō Ngāti Maniapoto. Alex Nankerville, nō Ngāti Pikiao. Ollie Norris, nō Ngāpuhi. TJ Peranara, nō Ngāti Rangatihi. Rāmeka Poiapi, nō Ngāti Whakaue. Reed Prinsep, nō Te Raroa. Billy Proctor, nō Naitarangi me Ngāpuhi. Marcel Renata, nō Ngāti Whanaunga me Nai Takoto. Manaki Selby Rickett, nō Ngāti Raukaua me Ngāti Tūwhari Toa. Sean Stevenson, nō Ngāpuhi. Cameron Suafoa, nō Ngāpuhi. Bailyn Sullivan, nō Ngāti Kahununu. Zan Sullivan, nō Ngāti Kahununu. Tyrone Thompson, nō Tā Manahiri me Ngāti Rangawewehe. Isaiah Walker Liawere, nō Ngāti Parau. Brad Weber, nō Ngāti Parau. Tamaiti Williams, nō Ngāpuhi. Congratulations to all those that selected, especially the 11 new caps. Mahi aki te mahi, kia ora, pai mārire.
Here, two gentlemen for the singing of our school song, Kapuia.
Ka
couldn't think of a more fitting way, gentlemen, to honour our guests today. Thank you, Aaron, for announcing their team. Special congratulations to our young men on stage. We're going to finish this segment of the assembly by asking our guests a question. And so I'm going to start with Brodie Robinson, who's going to ask someone a question. Brodie.
Yeah, this question's for Josh. Throughout your early high school career, you missed out on most of the top teams and then going on to make the first 15 in your final year. How did those early setbacks shape you into the player and Māori All Black you are today?
He's done his knowledge. I think obviously as a young kid coming to Hamilton Boys, you're in such a big pool of great players. Me and Ramaka were here together since year 9, and you just can't stop believing. You've got to keep trying and just keep getting back up. And obviously in that last year, thanks to Mr. Hotham and Mr. Kirkham, I got that chance. And just keep putting your best foot forward, boys, and you never know, anything can happen. And just keep believing, okay?
I've got a question for Ramaka. During your time in the Hamilton Boys First 15, what's been your most fondest memory?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Probably my most fondest memory, I could talk about the exchanges. Had some good rivalries against little boys, Hastings and whatnot. Had some memorable games out here on the number 1 field as well, but probably the thing that stuck with me the most is probably the boys I went through that with. And you don't realise it at the time, but there are special times in your life, and I'm still close with a lot of those boys today, so that'd probably be it then.
My question is for Clayton. Past years, the Chiefs haven't really been dominated with homegrown players for past couple of years, but now with the back line being stacked with so many Hamilton boys, old boys, how do you think that's shaped the Chiefs today?
Well, we lost on the weekend, so I might have to make some changes in it. Look, I think it's sort of been a goal of mine to want to connect with our provincial union partners and see more local boys, go through our schoolboy pathway onto provincial union and then through to the Chiefs and then, onto New Zealand teams. And we're really fortunate in our region that we have a number of great schools that have a long history of producing good rugby players, and obviously this is one of them. And I have to say, it's easy to see why you're so successful, not just in rugby, but in general, just by the way that we've been welcomed here today and how professionally this has run. So congratulations as a school, and we'll be certainly watching games to see if there's any future Maori All Blacks and Chiefs out there. Good.
A very special assembly, but that concludes this part, and I'll ask you to stand, gentlemen, while our guests and our executive leave the stage. You too.